ladies and gentlemen, we have George Arias, the Pride of Dominican Republic and representing Bronx, New York. Hey champ, how's everything doing?
Wow, we're good here, chilling, man. Just finished training.
Thanks for allowing me, to have this interview, and I want to ask you a couple questions. One of my personal questions is like, when did you start fighting as a professional?
I made my professional debut in October 4th, 2014 in Atlantic City, and I fought in Bally's, in the Casino Bally's in Atlantic City. That was my pro debut.
Was it a tough fighter for you as you experience, or?
Hey man, I mean, it was my first fight as a pro. I don't even think it has anything to do with whether he was tough as much as how much my nerves were on me. I was in the locker room going, I couldn't even believe that I felt like, you can't ruin this. I felt like this is my pro debut. And however I do right now will be like the tone I'll set for the rest of my career. So the fight, like now looking at it from a couple years that I've been doing it, I'll say, yeah, it was an easy fight. Like, it wasn't like that the guy wasn't a great competitor. He didn't come to fight. He came to fight. Just so happened that my abilities, I guess you could say, were a little superior to his. My power, I felt, my movement, I was a little more advanced compared to him. But nonetheless, mentally, my nerves made the fight a little more even than it should have been. So yeah, for my pro debut, my nerves were holding me back.
That's right. So I feel like you were, trying to, make your name, I think, get known to all the audience and, for the people that they show up on that fight. So,
I mean, honestly, look, I understood that was my first fight. I had no thoughts of getting anybody's attention. I knew that I was gonna have to grind for a while before anybody cared about me. So that fight was honestly just for the sake of me saying that I want to know. I didn't care about who had a camera. I didn't care about who was watching. I was there, focused on this guy that trained just like me to whip me, and I'm just like,
and just to compete and see who.
I'm just trying to get this out the way so that I could be like I wasn't relaxed in any moment during that fight. I felt like, just because it's my first fight, I felt too stressed. I wasn't thinking about the future. I wasn't thinking about after the fight. I wasn't thinking about looking good. I was just trying to get this fight done and look good enough. But then I learned, eventually, right after the fight, I was like, man, I was stressing way too much. I wasn't even thinking about fighting. I was thinking about getting this done.
So and then you started feeling like, I think I had to work a little bit more on my skills and get like, maybe discipline and something.
Of course, that, yeah, as somebody that came right from the amateurs into the pros, there's definitely a transition you got to make in your routine and in the rounds that you train and the way you're eating. In the amateurs, I was getting away with a lot of recklessness, eating poorly. I was going out with my friends whenever they were free. I was free because boxing was pretty much my life, but I wasn't treating it that way. I was treating it almost like a part-time. And so when I became pro, I realized, man, there's a bigger difference. It's a different feeling. Now the power is different. These are grown men. I mean, in the amateurs I fought grown men, but now these are like certified grown men.
Yeah, definitely.
With power. Yeah. So now I felt like I started little by little. I started taking it a little more serious and really, growing into the sport.
Wonderful. How did you get into the boxing? Was it something that it motivated yourself, or was it that you liked it as a sport? Or?
Honestly, man, I was never really a fan of the sport. I was a fan of, like, growing up, I used to hear De La Hoya and Trinidad. Those were the only names my mom would mention. I really didn't care about boxing. If there was a fight, nobody cared to watch it. So boxing was irrelevant to my everyday life. What happened was, honestly, look, and even over here, you don't find a boxing gym everywhere. It's a very rare sighting to find a gym. So when I used to visit my friend, or when I visited her for the first time, and I saw this gym, I was like, oh, yeah, look, a boxing gym. And I thought of it more as a cool thing, right? I thought it was just cool. Oh, snap. Imagine if I was a boxer, I would beat everybody up. And then I never paid real mind to it. And by the way, the gym was closed. Like, there was a fire here, and it wasn't open. Then, in the summertime, in July 2010, I got a call. She said, yo, I see people going in and out. You should check it out. I remember you said you wanted it. And I was like, yeah, I did, but I wasn't really serious. I just wanted to, you know, it's something that just happened in the spur of the moment. But nonetheless, I was free. So I pulled up and I came through. And then, just for the hell of it, I walked in. And it was really awkward, you know, to walk into a gym where everybody seems to be busy, everybody seems to be doing what their thing, and you trying to find out, who do I talk to even get a clue of what's going on here. So then the dude running the gym at the time, his name was Dex, and he just told me, yo, just do something. Like, I can't remember exactly what he said, but he said, okay, show me what you got. And I did the things that how I would imagine fighting, right? Because in a street fight, you don't jab or do that. So at that time, I did what I would imagine would be good fighting. So I don't know why, naturally, I always knew that a jab
you feel the skills, like, you know,
you feel like a jab would be like the right thing to do. So I was jabbing and then doing, I always naturally, like, God bless me with a I don't know, coordination or good mechanics, that I move nice even if I don't really know what I'm doing. I just get it, you know, I just know how to. It
seems like, yeah, you just picked it up by himself, like the skills and all of that.
Like I made it look like I had potential, to put it like, I made it look like, oh. So then he what he did was he kept telling me, wow, you're so good, you know, you keep coming. And I was like, all right. I didn't really want to come. I was really trying to, because it wasn't the beginning of the summer, so I was trying to go along with my summer and go to the beach and mess around with my friend. But then this guy, he got to me. I was like, oh man, boxing's cool. And this guy here, he thinks I'm good. And I kept coming, and I kept coming. And he wasn't charging me or anything. So I was like, all right, let me just keep coming. And then we did pads and we did stuff. And he was like, wow, this guy's so good, he's so hard. I was like, oh, this guy's really getting in my head. I'm really believing that I can do this. But I'll go home and I'll think nothing of it. Honestly, look, I didn't even start running till I was boxing for like 4 months before I really thought of running. I never took gym, like boxing was something that I did when I came, and I'll never even think about it when I left. And at the time I was working construction. I have too much going on. This was just like a little, And then one of the things that changed the thing dramatically was, first when I met my coach, Leon Washington, that he really gave me no chance to slack off anymore. Like, I used to come to the gym and then call my coach and tell him, yo, I'm sick, and then not come for a whole week, and I was doing whatever I wanted. But then once my coach, he was like, nope, where you at? I'll pick you up. And I'm like,
so you have definitely no excuse on that.
Now I'm like, no, because my excuses were excuses. Like, I really could have cared, but I just wanted to chill. So then when my coach just made it impossible for me to slack off. So that was really the turning point of how I started getting really into the sport. Because it's one thing that you come and you show that you have ability, but then when you have somebody that is taking you that serious, you almost feel like, all right, let me just do this to get this person off my back, right?
That he's trying to put work on you and trying to make you be a dedicated person, dedicated boxing.
Dedication and discipline were not at all parts of my everyday life. Like, the way that most of us are raised, and even me and my friends, you do something. If you feel like it, you do it. If you don't feel like it, go to sleep tomorrow maybe. If not, just do something else. Like, that's really the way we did things in life. But then here I am doing something that is tough. I don't want to do it. I'm tired. If I get beat up in sparring, I feel like, what now? And I just got forced to keep coming. And I was like, what else? Yo, I can't stand this sport. Like, I wish I was good at basketball or something so I could play. But this is not even a game. This is like serious. So I wasn't enjoying myself. There was no. I was doing this miserably, almost like why did I get involved in this? I should have never gotten involved in this. But then I remember clearly, because this was a very. I remember it was in 2011 that there was this boxer named Delvin Rodriguez, and he had a fight with Paulo Wola, and this was like in Manhattan, and that day I had just came home from working construction, and I got home late, so I couldn't come to the gym, and I was like, oh yes, I can't go to the gym, right? So then, on ESPN they say the Dominican guy was gonna fight. I'm like, oh snap, a Dominican's fighting, okay. So I got my mom there, like, yo, mom, un dominicano, voy a pelear. Okay, so everybody in the couch, we're like, yo, and that fight was the fight of the year. I was like, that was by far one of the moments when I felt like, okay, yeah, well, we gotta, let's do something with this now. I felt so proud. Yo, it's crazy. I felt so much pride seeing this guy put on such a show, put on such a display of heart.
The tremendous fight that he had.
That fight there, I said, wow. Like, I'm looking at the audience mainly. Like, I'm looking at their reaction. And I'm like, my God, I can't wait till one day I could fight and have a crowd going crazy over me. Like, that I could put on such a raw display of like aggressive, like, and have an opponent that's just as tough as me, and we're going at it for 10 rounds, and at the end everybody's like,
and give it to the fans what they want to see.
Wow. When I saw that, I saw that fight, I went on YouTube the next day just to try to show people, look at this, look. I was like, wow, this is, and that after that, I was like, I want to do that. I want to be like that. Like, not even fight like him or anything. I want to have that impact on a crowd. Like, I thought, I want to be that excited. So that was one of the key points where not only did I have somebody on top of me that was forcing me to do something, that I had talent, although I didn't realize, I never recognized that I was good at it. So I have somebody who's forcing me to dedicate time and do my best at something. But now my mind also started getting into it. Now I'm like, okay. And little by little, the machine started rolling on its own. Like, I started liking it. Now I'm like, I'm training, thinking, oh man, like this is the last round.
So you started feeling like, I want more.
Yeah, I started training like, I want to be able to put on the same show. I want to be able to fight, not get tired, and just give people an exciting show. I wasn't even training to be like skills was like second. I wanted to be excited. That was my key. I wanted to be able to have everybody on their toes. Everybody come out of there saying, wow, look at that.
What a fight,
That to me is more valuable than perhaps, I wouldn't even want to say it, but damn, if I could have like a fight of the year where I lost, I would be like, that's good. Like, damn, I think so. Like, I love so much more the feeling of putting on a great performance, that if there was a brutal brawl that had everybody going crazy, I think that'll be almost as good.
The excitement that you bring to the fans, and that's actually what they want to see, because they don't want to see, I guess, a boring fight,
Exactly. And because I was a fan before I was a fighter, I kind of know exactly what people want to see, because I also was there watching fights, being like, oh, this is boring. What am I watching? And then to see a fight that had me going crazy, I was like, no. Like, that's what I want.
That it make you step out of your seat, and then you be like maybe standing and then say, oh, this is one of the greatest fighters, and that's what fans, they came to see this.
That's exactly what I want to be all about.
Talking about boxing, who is your big inspiration in boxing?
Well, once I started really getting into the sport and really looking at the fighters, there's a couple of people. Like, of course, when I started, I was told to look into Joe Frazier. I really like Joe Frazier. Mike Tyson, I really like Mike Tyson. Muhammad Ali, I like his forward. Those are people, they were similar to my style, And then there were fighters, like I told you, Delvin Rodriguez, that were the people that capture my imagination. That's another level. You got Ruslan
Yep.
God, when he fought Timothy Bradley.
Oh my God, what a
Those are the fights that I was
fight,
like,
man.
I was like, okay, Tyson. Okay, I see what I gotta pick from you. I see what I gotta pick from Joe Frazier, and I see what I gotta pick from Muhammad Ali. But these are the reaction. I want to have the people go nuts. Those are the people. The Timothy Bradley, Probovnikov, the Power Warlock with Elvin Rodriguez. Then there was, let me see, of Chavez. Which one was a brawl like that? And maybe, man. But Chavez, by far, the pressure he put, the head movement. Just Chavez was, I don't know. I find him a little more interesting than Frazier, even though because he's a heavyweight. But I find that Chavez had a little more of that
the excitement and the fight that we actually love to see. Cause
I like Chavez.
Because when you get to see Chavez, when you used to see people, used to see Chavez, it was an interesting fight, excitement fight.
Yeah.
And I guess that's one really people want to see it. And these days, I mean, we still have, a couple fighters that, they give an excitement. But let's say that right now, talking about excitement, there is coming up a fight that is going to be September 16, Triple G and Canelo. Who you think is going to win? How you think it's going to end up? By TKO, by split decision?
It's tough. It's always tough to make predictions. Cause look, like for when Mikey Garcia and Broner, I thought a different Broner was gonna show up. It's like the expectation of how you've seen them at their best, and then Canelo. I go for Canelo. But damn, then you look at Triple G and you're like, damn, boy. I'll go for let me see. If it goes all the way, Canelo. And if it gotta get if something happens, if the fight doesn't make it all the way, it's because Triple G won. That makes more sense to me. Cause I find Canelo to be the more point. He puts more points on. So if the fight gotta go all the way, I find that Canelo will be better at scoring. But if the fight, I think Triple G's the one that could really like wobble him and finish it. He's a better finisher by far. So I go for Canelo, but I understand clearly that it's a 50-50.
So this is one of the fights that actually people they were waiting for like a couple years. And actually when Oscar De La Hoya came to New York, he says that this fight it will bring boxing back. It will bring back boxing because he said it that in the past years, because we had a Mayweather fighting, all these fighters that we could mention, Robert Guerrero, and I could go, by name. But he said that probably, he messed up, a little bit boxing. So I don't know if it is true or not. I mean, as an audience, as a fans, that they see it. Do you think that really this fight is gonna bring boxing back?
No, not at all. For the simple fact that this is just one great fight. Now the business of boxing will not be willing to put on these amazing fights that everybody wants to see because there's a lot of money in the way, I guess. So, but look, okay, if this fight happens, that'll be a great fight. But then look at Erislandy Lara, a beast. He's a beast to me. All the way up, who he fighting? I would love to have Lara fighting one of the Charlo.
Oh wow, we're talking about.
Well, I would like
fight
Lara fighting Andrade, Demetrius Andrade. Those are great fights. Why they're not happening? Now Triple G and Canelo fighting. That's not gonna persuade anybody to want to make these amazing fights. If anything, it's gonna make them want to be like, okay, I got the formula. Make them wait, and then you fight. So then, this is just another great fight. Just like when Mayweather fought Pacquiao, it took like 8 years for it to happen, and when it happened, it was like, wow. And now this fight is gonna happen. They both seem to be at their prime, so in more is expected.
And hopefully they bring us, the excitement that the fans they want to see. Because
there's no reason for this fight not to be like everything that is being promoted to be. But is it gonna change the mentality of the business of boxing? Absolutely not, because there are smarter people. They got their money weighing in on making things happen the way they've been happening. Because if not, how many times can people from PBC put their same fighters to fight each other? Like, ultimately you got to make it seem like there's a hierarchy of that. This guy only fights these people. This guy fights these people. And when you make this guy fight this guy, then it's like So, yeah, I don't think it's gonna affect the business part of it. Of course, anybody that is a boxer is willing to fight anybody. I really would never say anybody is scared. Once you're a boxer, you're not scared of anybody. It's never fear. It's business. So for the business side of it, I don't really think any of these fights can really change the business part of it.
Who you think is gonna? I mean, if this fight happens in the future, because we're hearing rumors that Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. wants to fight Jacobs, who you think is gonna win in this fight?
Hey, I told you, Julio Cesar Chavez is one of my big inspirations, but his kid has no business really being in this sport anymore. He showed that he had a lot of abilities at one point, but the fact that he got to fight Canelo out of nowhere, when there's better people that were in line, that showed, okay, he got favored because of his dad. And then that trash display he put on,
it just made him look bad, and I guess
now it just seems almost like a slap in the face. Like, yo, this guy's getting every big fight. Wait, because his father was a legend? Like, there's better opponents out there that are willing to put on a show. So for Chavez to just be able to like get away with these things, that's a little annoying, especially for those fighters, like those people. Like, damn, put Lara in there. But damn, my nigga Lara, he's not getting no fights. Lara really belongs in there. So for the sake of that, and Andrade and the Charlo, all these people, man, make those fights. I want to see those fights. Chavez is like exhausting.
It's exhausted. I think, in my opinion, he should retire, because I don't think he would continue doing like that, because
I don't see
he only gonna hurt himself, and and I guess
and the reputation.
And I guess his father don't want to see it.
And his father's really not about it anymore. So if they want to do a fight with Jacob, like anybody but that, because it's gonna look. I like Jacob, but if he's fighting Chavez, I wouldn't watch it. I like Jacob, but you putting him against this guy, so the ratings, even the crowd is gonna suffer, because you're putting all I'm looking at is a great fighter, and this dude that's getting everything he wants because his father is a legend. So no.
That wouldn't be an excitement fight. So
nah, man, no. I don't want Chavez fighting anybody.
How about in the other page, let's say, with the fighters, Leo Santa Cruz versus Abner Mares, that it comes with the second time. It would be the second time, but just recently, like a couple days ago, they have some financial issues, and they couldn't make that fight. So let's say if it in the future the fight happens and they come with an arrangement of money and whatever, they gotta solve those issues, who you think is gonna win in that fight?
I'm a fan of Abner Mares, a little more than Santa Cruz, for the simple fact of charisma, I guess it comes down to. I like both of them. I respect the crap out of Santa Cruz. The volume of punches he throws is admirable. Even if he's a small guy, he's admirable. I respect that a lot. But the fight is pretty close to me. Like, when you say it's pretty up there. The only deciding factor, I like Abner Mares, just like as a person. I just like him. That's the only reason why I'll say, I'll go with Mares.
That's awesome. I mean, in your career, who's the next? I mean, as we see you right now coming back and training at the gym, are you preparing yourself for to give us another great fight that we just had it right now, like a couple weeks ago? I mean, months ago.
Absolutely. that is the absolute motivation for the training. When I train, from the rope to the shadow boxing to the bags, everything, I can't have a second off. I try to just absolutely exhaust myself, because I know that when the fight comes, I want to be able to put on this exhausting performance that has the people on their toes, has the opponent like gasping for air, and I'm just going at it. And so my motivation is to put on a great show for the people. And when I train, I go beyond that, so that when the fight comes and the anxiety kicks in and you're looking around and you feel a little nervous, then I'm like at 80% of what I should be. My 80% is 1,000 compared to my opponents, you know. So I like training almost to a ridiculous level, so that when it's fight time and you know the anxieties and all that stuff kick in, bam, although I'm not gonna be 100%, I'll be absolutely ready for the fight and to be able to perform at the level that I train at.
Wonderful. Let me say, right now we're seeing, you know, like MMA fighters, you know, want to do the crossover and do boxing. What do you think about it? Do you think it's now something that maybe the fans want to see it because they want to experience something?
Nah, man, I don't think anybody would be interested in, let's say, if a lesser known UFC fighter would want to do boxing. Cause look, yeah, McGregor is making his pro debut on pay-per-view. That's ridiculous. So the only reason people are even interested in this is because Mayweather's involved, and because it's such a big show, and because this legend of boxing is risking his record with the best fighter in another sport. So it's a show. But I don't think anybody would care if an everyday regular UFC fighter wants to box. They'll be like, all right, so you gotta fight just like everybody else. Start off in a gym, like your pro debut in a high school gym or something. Then you fight again in the South, and in the basketball court of a church. Then like that you keep growing until you get somewhere. But ain't nobody else gonna be able to pull this move off unless it's John Jones and he wants to fight some like Andrew Ward. That would be crazy. But ain't nobody else. This is a once in a lifetime thing. It should just be a once in a lifetime thing, because it's exhausting.
Yeah, I think
it's a show and it's fun and everything. But damn, I mean, Cotto's getting no views.
Because actually right now that's one of the things that I was just gonna ask you, and I'm mentioning as a Cotto, he's gonna fight this fighter, the Japanese guy Kamijagi.
Yeah, Kamijagi.
So do you think, you know, people rather to watch, you know, McGregor instead of Miguel Cotto?
Absolutely. People can talk all they want. People are slaves to the hype. They're gonna say, oh, boxing, this guy don't know how to. But ultimately, it's psychological, man. You can't even. They're gonna want to know what happened. Like the Cotto fight. Like if I had the option, I would watch Mayweather's fight live and catch Cotto on YouTube. Like that. That's how messed up it is. But damn, the hype is just like, damn, the marketing for this fight is ridiculous. Like they know how to get to people. Like now you want to see, damn, well, why are they talking about Palinachi getting knocked down? Oh, so wow, like all this talking, and now you just want to like be there live and really know at the right time. Yo, who got knocked down? Oh, did it go the way? Or be disappointed right there and then, instead of watching it on YouTube and being like, yo, this is whack, and fast forwarding, yo, and then be like, I'd rather watch the
Cotto fight,
the Mayweather McGregor that Saturday, and probably catch Cotto, although it's messed up because it's the real fighters
on the same day.
It's the real fighters putting everything on the line. But I'm dumb. The fan in me wants to see the hype.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, well, like I said, I mean, I guess people, they want to choose probably Mayweather because it's a business, and probably people want to see some kind of type of show, because I feel like it is a show.
It is.
because let's say boxing right now that we see boxing, they trying to make it a, you know, do the crossover and with MMA boxing, and well, you know, I guess we are living in a new era, so
It's money, it's business.
it's money, and I think they living behind the sport. Like, to me, I consider that it would be, you know, something that is boxing with boxing, MMA with MMA. It's like, let's say if I put an example like soccer, you know, versus basketball, you know, I mean, I feel like it's gonna be a show, because who's gonna, I mean, there, of course, people that will go and watch it, but I don't think it will be excitement. Like, if you see a certain sport only doing what it's supposed to do, you know.
Oh, yeah, but like, it's because ultimately it's fighting, so it's like the same feel. So like, nobody wants to see LeBron James going against Lionel Messi in anything. It's completely different.
Two different type of sports, so that they have nothing to do with one
But then
and
it's
another.
because
so.
UFC and boxing are both fighting, it's almost like this fantasy. Like, you know, let's say they were in a bar and McGregor grabbed Mayweather's girl's butt and they had to fight. Who would win? And the only way that would have been answered is if they went to the octagon and McGregor was able to do what he does and Mayweather does what he does, and you see, okay, like Mayweather jabbed him, but then he grabbed his arm and locked it on. But if they're gonna box, then it's the excitement goes away significantly, because now McGregor, he's not even all that with the hands in the octagon. So now he's transferring that with the best boxer there is. So it's like, but they're still fighting, and they're still both fighters. There's a certain level of heart that you need to do this, and McGregor has it. So more than anything, it's about how cocky they are. Man, you want to see, can Mayweather find somebody that can get in his head or whatever. Ultimately, man, it's business, and what am I gonna do? Argue with it? They don't need my
they don't need your opinion, I guess, or your advice.
Yeah, there ain't nothing I could do to make it any less or any more. There's millions of dollars involved. Their paychecks are guaranteed. It's up to us to watch it or not. And I wouldn't pay for it, but if it's around, I might peep, you know, watch whatever's happening. But hey, I wouldn't want it to happen again. Unless they go to the octagon, then it's more exciting, because now you get to see somebody completely. They both could do absolutely everything they got. In boxing, he's very limited, so it's almost like, nah.
Well, that's one of the things that I see it. Probably, maybe in the future it will happen, maybe not. But for now, we have, you know, these fights that they're coming up, and hopefully, you know, they give us a good excitement.
You remember Andre Berto with Mayweather? How that fight went? It's like that. Like, that's really what I expect again. Mayweather to be jumping around and laughing and almost like, mira Canelo ain't even land a punch. So I expect that, more or less, that sort of things to go. That's how I predict the fight going. Really. He got no need to get hurt. He got no need to trade. He got no need to prove. Mayweather has nothing to prove. McGregor's going there with absolutely everything to prove. So hopefully, in the midst of trying to prove something, he gets caught, or he gets something.
He throws
through.
a lucky punch, and then we will see something.
It's a show, so I don't really. My heart's not with any one of them. So if anybody gets hit. See, like Cotto, I'm always with Cotto. I'm like, oh, I hope he don't get hurt, because I respect him as a fighter. This is a show, so for the show, I feel like they're both millionaires. Like and McGregor loses, he goes back to the sport. He's a king. Mayweather, win or lose, he's the best in the sport. He retires. He got a legacy. Nobody can take that away. Nobody can really lose. There's no way to lose in this.
Definitely. I mean, thanks for giving me the opportunity to CPS Boxing News, and definitely, you know, we will see you again on the fight. You probably, you know, have the day for that fight, and you onwards, can you wanna mention that?
Hopefully, I mean, it's 2 days. It's either gonna be It's either gonna be September the 9th or September the 15th.
Well, we will see
So-
you back again in action.
Pero dime a ver qué es eso. Gracias. Dime a ver.
I said we will see you back again in action.
Hopefully I can put on a show. I'm training to give you guys over the show, so look out.
Thanks again, champ. God bless you and good luck for your next
Thank
fight.
you, man. Thank you.